Let us listen to about it from Professor Kannaiyan. Over to you, sir.
Be blessed by the divine. Good evening to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Balachandran Ayya, our senior Sky professor, for introducing me to this group. And I also thank the organizers for giving the opportunity to discuss about the consciousness of God, which is one of the most important topics of Maharishi to the mankind. And as all of us aware, consciousness is the one which prevails everywhere, and this is being talked about by the saints and jnanis, though they have described the consciousness as the God through their poems and expressed it in by way of writings. It will be very difficult to understand by the common man. Here comes our Maharishi, who not only simplified the concept but also scientifically explained in such a way that the common people also can understand it easily. The saints and jnanis, though they have described the God as formless and omnipresent, finally concluded that the consciousness is God. So now let us see the topic through some PowerPoint presentation slides. வாழ்க வளமுடன். When we say consciousness, generally we tend to link
So that
with
screen
the
is not coming
non.
through. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, that screen is not coming through. It's only the chats. It's coming.
And now I have shared this now.
No, it's not coming through here.
1 second, sir. I will check.
Yeah. We are seeing only the Windows screen, as somebody is pointing it out. Yes, now it's coming.
Yeah. Sir, when we refers to consciousness, we mean the knowledge, intellect, அறிவு in Tamil. So this is the knowledge which we have acquired through our education and through the experiences we gained over a period of years. But the consciousness which here we are referring to is the divine consciousness or the eternal wisdom which functions as the order of function in everything, in living as well as non-living beings. So we see the millions of stars and planets in the universe, and they are moving around and revolving around each other without any disturbance to each other. They rotate in such a way that it functions in an order. So this is the order of function which we call it as divine consciousness. The same consciousness functions as the sixth sense in the human beings, which is helping us to realize the God. So we have seen now the consciousness is the divine quality. Then now we have to see what is the divine or what is God. So in the universe, we see only two things. One is space and the other is objects. The moon, earth, planets, living creatures, man. They are all the objects appearing in the space, and the space is in between each objects, and the space surrounds every objects. So it fills all the places. So now having narrowed down to space and objects, we have to find out which one came first so that we can narrow down what is God. So the space is limitless, boundless, and it fills all the spaces in the universe. And the object is having certain limits by way of length, breadth, and width. So the limited one should have come from the limitless one. Naturally, the objects have come from this space. So in science, they have found out that the objects has the origin from the Akash particles or energy particles, and they are not able to say anything about the source of the divine particles. Whereas the saints, through their yoga and meditation, they have found out by bringing their mind frequency to a very subtle level that the origin of the divine particles are the space. Now we'll see what is space and what are all its qualities. The space is permanent and it is everlasting. It will not perish in time. The space was in existence yesterday, is in existence today, and it will exist tomorrow also and thereafter. So it will not be diminishing by usage. The space is primordial, it is Adi. Everything has come from the space, so it is the root for everything. It has no beginning and it has not come from anything. That's why it's called as Anadi. And it is the mightiest of all. That is why Maharishi asked, in the entire universe, what can be mightier than absolute space? Also, it's not a vacuum because it contains everything in it. The Shakespeare has put it correctly. Nothing can come out of nothing. And also our Saiva Siddhantam says, இல்லாதது தோன்றாது. Non-existent cannot come into existence. So in view of all these things, it has been concluded that the space is called the God, absolute space, eternal space, divine, Suttavali, Paravali by our saints and jnanis. So Kudambai Chittar has, in one of his poems, he has said that one who has realized the truth requires no evidence. Realized the truth means if he realized that the absolute space is the truth as the God, then he don't require anything. So, வெட்டவெளி தன்னை மெய் என்று இருப்போருக்கு பட்டயம் எதுக்கடி? He asked like that. So, the Daimana Swami also says, Anganganadabadi Engum Prakasama. In that poem, he says that boundless space is God. Neither here nor there, in eternal bliss, here all through, so kind, what is it? He asks one by one, what is God, which is God, like that. So he further says, which willed to contain the countless galaxies in boundless space. தன்னருள் வெளிக்குள்ளே அகிலாண்ட கோடியெல்லாம் தங்கும்படிக்கு இச்சை வைத்து. He says, and that is the God, which is nothing but the absolute space. Nammalvar, one of the saints, he also says that absolute space is a comprehensive and expanding phenomenon, which expands, which grows. சூழ்ந்து அகன்று ஆழ்ந்து உயர்ந்த முடிவில் பெரும் பாழையோ. பெரும் பாழையோ here refers to the absolute space. So Adi Sankara calls this as Brahman. Brahman means one which grows or one which expands. Jesus says, Holy Father of the uh, universe. So Prophet Muhammad, Allah. Mahatma Gandhi says truth. Vallalar says it's Arut Perun Jodi, eternal light of the God. Maharishi says absolute space. So though the various saints have described the God in various names, but the root is one. They've expressed the absolute space as the God. So if the thing is, since the God is formless and omnipresent, the names were given according to the languages used in different countries. Now, the qualities of the divine state, if we understand, then we can narrow down which is God and why the consciousness is called as God. The four qualities that exist in the divine state is plenum, force, consciousness, and time. So plenum is the undiminishing stock force, which we call vatra iruppu in Tamil. So the all the objects in the universe appears in the space, exist in the space, and disappears in the space. So that is why it is an undiminished stock force. The next is force. The divine has inherent force in it. The forces are self-compressing force and um, surrounding pressure force. These forces are primarily responsible for the origin of energy particles and the uh, formative dust. They surround the stars and planets, makes them to float. When we come to the consciousness, it is the act of the divine which makes everything to function in order. And when we come to time, the self-compressive force of the divine, it acts intermittently and through which the compression and expansion take place. The interval between the two querying movements is called time. It is the time which makes changes in all the objects of the universe to change. Now, the consciousness is called as God by all the saints and Johnnies, though the divine has the four qualities. So the Taimanavar says consciousness is God. என் சித்தமிசை குடிகொண்ட அறிவான தெய்வமே. When it comes to Bharadiyar, he says, know you not that consciousness God according to thousands of Vedas. He says, when ஆயிரம் தெய்வங்கள் உண்டென்று அலையும் அறிவிலியால் பல்லாயிரம் வேதம் ஒன்றே தெய்வம் உண்டாமனல் கேளீரோ. This is what Bharadiyar says. And this is reiterated in Mahavakyas of Vedas. Prajnanam Brahmam, conscious is God. Why they have called out of the force only consciousness as God? As all we know that the living and non-living things are the manifestation of the divine. This is called, Maharishi is calling this as transformation, uh, changes from one to another. If you take the plant, it may appear that the plant has come from the seed, but if we deeply analyze, as explained by Maharishi, the seed itself has transformed into plant. So this is self-transformation. Likewise, the egg itself has transformed into chick. So the consciousness or the eternal wisdom are the main reasons for all these transformations. When we take the force, the attractive and repulsive force of the divine, it only holds the millions of stars and planets, galaxies, which are moving around in this universe as together and allows them to float. If such a powerful force, why it was not called as God? Because the force itself is not enough. It needs further wisdom or order of function. Otherwise, all the planets would have been collided with each other. So it is the wisdom which makes them to move without disturbance with each other and allow them to move in their orbit without error. And if the planum The plenum is only static, and as such, it cannot do anything of its own. It needs force and consciousness to manifest and continue the journey. So the time also will be defunct, or it will not work out unless there is manifestations. That is why they have called the consciousness as God, which is required to regulate everything in the universe. So the divine consciousness, it has the foresight of making the universe, which one has to come first, which has to come second, like that. So we can understand it through an example of a mango tree. The mango tree is a big tree, and when it grows according to the time period, it grows as a stem, leaf, flowers, and fruits. Once it was in the seed as imprints, it will not be visible. So the seed and the plant thereafter, the consciences will work and make them to grow as per the plan of its. So like that, the universe is coming out of the planning of the consciousness. The consciousness know which one has to come first. So when the self transformation takes place, when the God wanted to transform as living beings, the first plant came first, because the living being needs food. Food is the basic of all the living beings. So the plant came first, so that it will be the food for the other subsequent living beings. And the beauty of is the plant itself can manufacture food. So that is why the plant came first. So this is the journey of consciousness by the God. And the journey started from the divine state, that it has come to formative days, dust. And the finally it came to the living beings, and the man is the ultimate perfection in the living things. So no more journey, no more transformations. So when it transformed into non-living things, living things, and finally man, let us now see how that consciousness is working in each thing. In non-living things, it works as the pattern, precision, and regularity. So if we take the earth, it it has a shape or pattern. It rotates itself in a day, and it revolves around the sun once in 365 and quarter days. So it precisely moves, and it has a regularity. So like that, if you take the mango, it has a shape. It grows as per exactly as of the mother plant, and it will grow in a particular season depending upon the planet's movements. So it has everything will have its pattern, precision, and regularity. Coming to the living beings, it has the quality of cognitions, experience, and discrimination. So, for example, if we throw a stone on a dog, it will naturally react, because it will feel the pain, and as a result, it will start reacting. Suppose if we give some biscuits or food to them, or we show love to them, they will come closer to us and will be grateful. So it can cognize the pleasure and the pain, and also it can discriminate between the owner and the stranger. When it comes to man, the consciousness is working as to realize the self, to realize the God, and it is functioning as the sixth sense. If we throw a stone on a man, he will immediately react, because we have the animal imprints within us. But same time, since he is endowed with the sixth sense, he will start thinking about the reasons. So this thinking is nothing but the sixth sense functioning as the uh, um, consciousness. So the consciousness is residing in all of us and doing many miracles. And that is why the Jesus Christ says the kingdom of his God within you. So the God resides in all of us in the form of consciousness. The miracles, to list a few, it functions as mind, which goes through all sensations of pleasure and pain through sense organs. It transforms the biomagnetism into 5 Panchatanmatras. Like that, even though the male and female are like, the females are provided with additional features to womb, water bag, to take care of the growth and the safety of the child. So, and this is doing wonders, and that is why the Pattanathar also says, unaware of your presence within, I ruined myself through ego. So, having realized that the divine is within us, as stated by Jnanis and Maharishis, how we can realize the consciousness in us? It can be realized through the mind. God, consciousness, and mind, they are not different things. So, mind is the expansion of the consciousness. If we control the mind or regulate the mind will come to the frequency of a subtle level, and we can do that. So, naturally, since it is a biomagnetic wave, it wanders outside, and it has to be practiced to travel inwards to bring down the frequency of the mind. An active mind cannot perceive the divine consciousness or the God. Our sky system, the meditation, we start with the Agana meditation, which is nothing but focusing on the life force, which is the source of the mind. If we progress in the meditation, the sensual pleasure or sensual perceiveness will disappear, and the mind will get to the matured level, and it reaches the center of the life force, which is called as the genetic center, where the Almighty exists as consciousness. Whenever there is a motion, there shall be a motionless point at the center. This is in science, this is called vortex. Similarly, the divinity is at the center of the life force as static, which is at a motionless level. So we have to go to that point by meditation. So the Maharishi, in the invocation of Guru song Purvatidai, he says that the presence of the consciousness is at the center of the life force. You made me perceive the life force in the body and showed the divinity as consciousness within it. உருவத்தில் உயிரை, உயிருக்குள் உள்ள அறிவை மெய்ப்பொருளாய் காட்டி. That's the point where we have to reach. If we reach that place, the secrets of the universe will come to light, and the entire history of self-transformation of absolute space will be revealed by intuition. This is called intuitional revelation. நீ அதுவானால் அதுவே சொல்லும். In Tamil, the God is known as Kadavul. In the sense, Kadavul, we have to go inside to see the God. And this is also said by Thiruvalluvar, ஐயப்படாது அகத்தது உணர்வானை தெய்வத்தோடு ஒப்பக்குழல். He who is in consciousness without doubt is equal to Almighty. So, in order to understand and realize the consciousness within us, Maharishi has established a temple for consciousness at Aliyar, and also he renamed the Manavalakalai Mandram as Temple of Consciousness. and he invites everybody to come and understand the consciousness, realize the consciousness, and enjoy bliss. He also formalized all his teachings and philosophies into structured courses, which is now spreading to schools, colleges, and universities. And this topic, consciousness is God, is also included as one of the topics in introspection third stage, and detailed explanation is given at the Brahmajnana level. There is no other shortcut to understand this consciousness. Having understand the consciousness within us, what is the next? Now we have to, the next step is we have to go in search of the source of the consciousness, which is divine. The divine and consciousness are not two different things. One is understood, the other can be easily understand. So the meditation, the Duryadida meditation will help us to reach that God. So the journey normally, since the God lives in every man, the journey will start towards that perfection. But there are some obstacles in the way of journey. The obstacles are the impurities or the sin imprints, sin imprints which we have in our genetic center. The Duryadi, the meditation will help us to remove all the imprint. The Maharishi has explained the Duryadi, the meditation in one of the poems. When thought reaches God and mixes, that is, இறைநிலையோடு எண்ணத்தை கலக்கவிட்டு. In that case, if daily the practice is pursued, sins will go, consciousness will turn divine, ego will go, the divinity will be seen. That is, கரை நீங்கி அறிவு மெய்ப்பொருளாய் நிற்கும், கரைந்து போம் தன்முனைப்பு காணும் தெய்வம். This is the state of level which we will achieve in the Duryadida meditation. It will lead us to the path of perfection, and the purpose of birth will be fulfilled. The purpose of life is divine realization and attaining the perfection in wisdom. These are all the purpose of life. Attaining perfection in wisdom is salvation or liberation, and it is called as Vidubir also in Tamil. We have come from the divine absolute space, and we have to return back to the absolute space. That is the homecoming or salvation. So absolute space is the home for all of us. That is the permanent home. And whatever we say here is only temporary, and it is for our physical body. Once the soul separates from the physical body, and the mortal remains will not be allowed to stay even for 2 or 3 days. So that is the temporary phenomenon for us here. And the Turyadi, the meditation, if we do regularly, then the soul will, if it wends its way home easily through realization of the absolute. Turyadi, the meditation is the boon for us given by Maharishi, because he is taking us to the absolute space through step by step from Duryam to Dvada Sangam, moon, sun, universe, and finally the absolute space. And every human being should attain that stage. So he has simplified and given all the meditation to us. And the Duryadi, the meditation is the ultimate and peak of Kundalini Yoga. So it is the union of the Jivatma with the Paramatma, which is called as Mukti, and it has to be attained during one's lifetime, and not after the death, as many of the people think. So the whatever we have seen now regarding the consciousness, the Maharishi has summarized everything in one poem. If I know undoubtedly that I am the consciousness, The same is mind wave in plurality, that is Padarkayil Manam. The seat of consciousness is hidden. It is the center of the divine particle. The source of consciousness is the wide divine space called universal magnetism. Thus, beyond the known is divine consciousness, which, when known within, it helps to know all. If we know the divine consciousness within us, then it will helps us to know everything, the secrets of the universe, the self-transformation of the divinity, everything. This is what is said by Saint Thirumular in one of his poems. If you know all, but not the knowledge that knows all, what avails you? It is of no use. So he says that we should know the knowledge which knows all. So if we know that knowledge which knows all, then I am the God. So எல்லாம் அறிந்த அறிவினை நானெனில் எல்லாம் அறிந்த இறை எனலாமே. He concludes like that. And if one gets the God, realize the God ourself, then the love blossoms into um, love blossoms. And because this is the quality of the God, love and compassion are the quality of the God. So if the realized persons are generated more and more, they will see divinity in every beings, and they will not do harm to others, and they will help others also. So they will lead a selfless service. So with the more realized person across the world, the war will not lift its ugly head. So the result will be the world peace as decided by our Maharishi, who sacrificed his life and established the WCC only for this purpose. Um, Dear all, we are coming to the concluding part of this presentation. As Sky members and disciples of Maharishi, we have lot of responsibilities. We are the Arunidhis and Arutchelvers. We are the wealthiest persons in the world because we possess Arutchelvam with us. So Arutchelvam means the wealth of kindness, the wealth of divinity, which is the wealth of all the wealth. As Thiruvalluvar said, Arutchelvam, Selvathur Selvam. We have such a Selvam with us, so we have to do a lot of things in the society. We have to serve the temple of consciousness to spread the Vedatriyam. And daily, through our meditation, we have to bless the world leaders to attain the divine realization intuitively, and we have to bless the world to enjoy prosperity, happy, and peace. So, thank you. With this, I conclude my presentation and leave the floor open for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aya. That was a very beautiful presentation and speech. Consciousness is God. It is supposed to be the last leg of the certificate course, that is the higher level classes that we take after the foundation course. This is Brahmanyanam. So I hope all the beginners, if there are any beginners here and they have not taken certificate course, I suggest that you take the higher level class to understand this deeply. But Professor Kannaiyan has given a beautiful explanation in a nutshell. So we have come from the divine, that is open space, and returning to the space is homecoming, that is salvation. How beautifully he has put it. Of course, he has taken the words from Maharishi's poems and explained it very well. Thank you so much, Kannaiyan. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you. So I request, those present here to ask any question, anything. If you have any doubts, please raise your hand. I will unmute you. I'm sure you will all be having some doubts. So we have a senior professor here with us, Professor Kannaiyan, who explained it so well. Just a matter of 30 minutes, he was able to explain it. That, yeah, Samsung. So I'll unmute you. Yes, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah. Sir, good evening and good afternoon, sir. Hope you are doing well. So it was the first time we are seeing your presentation in English. Of course, we have seen your presentation all this while in Tamil, and you are the PPT specialist, sir. So thank you once again for the session, being honored today, sir. The concepts are well explained. Thank you for that. Sir, I have a question in terms of the consciousness and the topics. I see that, I see predominantly you take the songs from our ancient Siddhas or the 18 Siddhas or the Saptarishis, wherever, especially on the topics on the absolute space, sir. So my question is, Maharishi has grinded or collected all the understanding of the spiritual thought, and he has given us one fine juice, so which we are learning today. So how do you manage to get the examples with the different siddhas who have explained it, sir? How do you learn all those things from a different books or from a different way of people who have portrayed about the absolute space? So hope my question is clear, or if you want, I can I can put it back.
It's very clear. The thing is, that is why initially I told that though the Siddhas and Jnanis, they have realized that the conscious is God, they have explained it in many poems. But it will be very difficult to understand unless we have the basics of spiritual knowledge. That basics of spirit, and you take the Mahavakyams also. They says, I am Brahman, Tattvamasi, and Prajnanam Brahmam. See, unless you come to Maharishi, Maharishi or any other spiritual organizations, the terms you will get familiar with it. But the thing is, the Maharishi, in our system, Maharishi, he says that you don't struggle. I have made everything. I have done enough research. That's why he has given the what are all the Tirukkural which we have to refer for all the subjects, and the songs from the Tirumular, the Patinathar, everything Maharishi has given. And in fact, he has written a book, Tirukkural Utporul Vilakkam. He has given 50 crores. If you know that 50 crores, and the entire thing will be known. Like that, Maharishi has taken everything, because basically he is a practitioner of Siddha, Ayurveda, Unani. So naturally, the Siddha books he was familiar with. So he has linked everything from there and given us a nutshell to us. That is why we are able to. And though we have studied in schools, colleges, this Tirukkural, and it was like for the marks. Now only having come to Maharishi, we are now going through everything. And நீ அதுவானால் அதுவே சொல்லுங்கிற மாதிரி நீங்க if you search a topic, or if you go through Maharishis in a deep, when you are the Arunidhi in the beginning, or when you are a student, that time the understanding will be different. When you come to the Arunidhi stage, the understanding would be different. When you start taking classes, then you will naturally try to go through the books. It will be easy if you know the Maharishi's concept to understand everything. That is why, though the four lines of Tirumular, Patinathar, this Tirukkural, easily it will come to our light. One is through our experience. Next is the Guru. He will take care of us. He will give the all the informations are available in the universe. that will come to our link. That is my experience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the detailed explanation, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Anyone else? Gopur, Bob? Yeah, okay. I'll unmute you. Sure.
வணக்கம் ஐயா.
Yeah, வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். கான்சியஸ் பத்தி நீங்க சொன்னது ரொம்ப அருமையா இருந்தது. ஒன்லி திங் எனக்கு இருக்கிற டவுட் என்னன்னா, நான் சோல் அந்த ஆன்மா நம்ம சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ பியூர் கான்சியஸ்னஸ். ஐ நோ த கான்சியஸ்னஸ் இன் எவ்ரிவேர் இன் த பாடி. நம்ம உடம்புல எல்லா இடத்துலயுமே கான்சியஸ்னஸ் இருக்கு. ஆனா ஸ்பெசிபிக்கா இப்ப வந்து நம்ம எனர்ஜி வந்து நம்ம என்டையர் பாடியில இருந்தா கூட சீட் ஆஃப் எனர்ஜி, அதாவது குண்டலினி சக்தி வந்து மூலதாரம்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அது மாதிரி சோல் ஆர் ஆன்மா நமக்கு புருவத்துக்கு மத்தியில உள்ள மிட் பிரெயின்ல இருக்கா, இல்ல அதுவும் மூலாதாரால தான் இருக்கா? ஏன் நான் கேள்வி கேட்கிறேன்றத நான் சொல்லிடுறேன். இவர் வந்து திருமூலர் வந்து பாடி இருக்கிறாரு, உற்று உற்று பாக்கின் ஒளிவிடும் மந்திரம் பற்றுக்கு பற்றாய் பரமன் இருப்பிடம் சிற்றம்பலம் என்று தெரிந்து கொண்டேனே அப்படின்னு அவர் பாடியிருக்காரு. இன்னொரு சித்தர் வந்து சொல்றாரு, உச்சிக்கு கீழே உள்நாக்கின் மேலே வச்ச விளக்கு எரியுதடின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரு. வள்ளலார் பெருமானும் சிற்சபைன்னு சொல்லிட்டு புருவத்துக்கு மத்தியில உள்ள அதான் சிற்சபைன்னு மாதிரி சொல்றாரு. அங்க வந்து ஒரு ஜோதி இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்றாரு. அதனாலதான் எனக்கு டவுட் வந்து பிரெயின்ல இருக்கா சோல் இல்ல மூலாதாரால இருக்கான்றது.
சரி, வாழ்க வளமுடன். இட்ஸ் பியூட்டிஃபுல் கொஸ்டின். ஏன்னா எல்லாருக்கும் அந்த சந்தேகம் வரும். தி மகரிஷி, பிகாஸ் அவர் சிஸ்டம் இஸ் நோன் அஸ் சிம்பிளிஃபைடு குண்டலனி யோகா. நீங்க வள்ளலார் நீங்க சொன்ன சிற்சபை
Sorry to interrupt, Aya. So this is an English class. So can you translate?
Okay.
No, that's okay. No problem. Can you explain his question? I mean, in English, and then give it in English answer.
Yeah,
Is it okay? Thank you.
The understanding of mine is, his question is, when you say the soul or consciousness, each one is it is they are asking us to concentrate on the life force in between the purva, eyebrows, and Vallar says it's Sisabai, and Tirumular says in a different song. Whether all they are referring is the eyebrow, the Agna point or the Muladhara or genetic center. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, what I am asking is the soul is in midbrain or in Muladhara, because whatever they are saying, the light is within the brain. You can see, actually I have meditated for the 25 years. I have done Turiya meditation and Turiya Angna meditation, Angna Chakra meditation. I have seen the light of the soul. I have seen the meditation. So I have seen in between eyebrows. So that's why I have a question whether the soul is within the brain or in the Muladhara.
See, the consciousness is at the center of the divine particle, life force, and the life force has the center in the Muladhara. So the thing is, initially, to understand, they have asked us to focus on the Agna Chakra. So it will be easy for us to realize that life force. And thereafter, if you go deep, the beginners will experience the light or so, or whatever may be in that Agna Chakra. And slowly, when the mind stops or the thoughts stops, naturally like the sea and the sea wave, the consciousness is static like sea. When wave stops, the sea remains. Like that, if our thoughts stop, then mind will reach naturally the center of the life force, which is nothing but genetic center. So, and the soul will be there in the genetic center, though the consciousness is everywhere. The life force is everywhere because it is circulating in the whole of the body, it will have its own center. Like the biomagnetism which circulates, it has its own center. So that is the genetic center we have to reach.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And see, when you advance in meditation, when you progress in meditation, each one will have their own experience. That is why Maharishi has given a simplified. Instead of starting from the Muladhara, he started with the Agana, then Muladhara, then Duryam, then only all the points. So if initially if you say all these things, then people may not understand it. That is why slowly Maharishi has given everything. And ultimately everything is the same. And there is no difference between God, consciousness, mind, biomagnetism, all refers to the same.
Thank you, sir.
And each saint has described in their own way. But the root, what they have described is the same. The languages were different.
Okay.
See, we can see one more example also, like, the water. We call it as water in English, Tannir in Tamil, the Nilu in Telugu, like that. So it has different names.
Thank you, sir. நன்றி ஐயா, வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Gopu Bapu Aya, for a wonderful, excellent question. So actually, this is very tricky, but Professor has put it very nicely. How every word is different. Water, Niru, Vellam, and all that. That is well put. Thank you so much. So we have Anantar. I'll just unmute her. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, please go ahead.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful speech. You've shown the importance of introspection to find the consciousness within yourself. As the previous question you answered, my understanding is once you introspect and have concentrate on your consciousness, it's like you said, it's all over your body, and you can feel the effect of it rotating inside the body. Is that the right way to think?
Yeah, we can conclude like that. So ultimately you will reach that point. So the life force, it starts with the Agna Chitra and it circulates all over the body and settles at the genetic center.
There are different views about God. Many saints
Thank you very much.
Jnanis have described that the consciousness is God. Veda Mahavakyam says, Brahmanam Brahman.
Is it over? Is he playing it again?
No.
Okay. Any more questions from anyone? Can raise your hands or we can call it a day. Any questions from anyone? Balchandran sir, would you like to conclude? Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Kannaiyan. It was a very nice explanation about Swamiji's concepts about consciousness is God. That's the most difficult concept, in fact. And if only this is understood, Swamiji says that if this is understood, world peace will be there, prosperity will be there, harmony will be there. That's what, even when he went to UNO also, this is what he said. If people can realize that divinity is everywhere and within oneself, and if that is made to realize as an experience, then things would happen. Otherwise, a lot of theory is there and a lot of stories have been there to realize by each one. And if such people become world leaders also, then transformation of the whole world is possible. So this is a very fundamental topic. Of course, it needs a lot of background, as you said earlier. We have to understand what is Ajna, how do you meditate on that, and then make it as an experience to ourselves. And then keep listening to such great masters like Swamiji to internalize it. So on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you for a very excellent presentation. Thank you, sir. Yes,
Thank
over to yes, Sunanda madam for any announcement,
Thank
please.
you. Thank you, Balachandran sir. So before we conclude, let us close our eyes and bless Professor Kannaiyan. Be blessed by the divine. May Professor Kannaiyan be blessed by the divine with good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much, Aya. Before we conclude, I would like to remind everyone, this is a Zoom session. Every day we have in the morning and the evening. Morning, 6 a.m. Indian Standard Time. It starts with group meditation and then continued by video played with exercises. And the evening, we have at 6:25, evening Kayakalpa, followed by live meditation till 7 o'clock. So I would like, I request each one of you to make use of this forum. And we do have foundation course online. I'm sure you're all aware of it. Every month, we have it from 1st to 12th. And next session will be 16th to 27th. So every month we have this. We have it in Tamil, English, Telugu, and Kannada. So those who are not able to go to the center physically can make use of it. And those who have friends, relatives in abroad, somewhere, not in India, where they would love to take part from the comfort of the house, they can reach to us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aya. Thank you, everyone. Be blessed by the divine. Let's conclude and hope to see you all next Saturday. Thank you. Be blessed by the divine.